This is everything you need to know about fractions in 2 minutes. First up, simplifying. Simplifying is trying to make the numerator and denominator as small as possible without changing the fraction. To do this, whatever we do to the numerator, we have to do to the denominator as well. These two fractions will have the exact same value. Just like how in these two circles, 1/2 is exactly the same value as 2/4. We times the top by 2 and the bottom by 2. Now, simplifying is making the two numbers smaller, but if we multiply the top and bottom, the fraction is still the same, although the numerator and denominator get bigger. Remember, the golden rule is whatever you do to the numerator, you have to do to the denominator as well. As long as you remember this, simplifying is simple. Now, what you can't do when simplifying is add the same thing to the numerator and denominator. This completely changes the fraction. Similarly, you also shouldn't subtract from the numerator and denominator either. This is also wrong. So remember the golden rule, whatever you do to the numerator, you do to the denominator as well, but only for multiplying and dividing, not for adding or subtracting. Okay, so what about if we need to find a fraction of an amount, like 3/5 of 400? In this case, all we do is switch the of for a multiplication symbol. When we multiply a fraction with a whole number, we only multiply with the numerator. So 3 times 400 and then divide by 5. No calculator, no worries, we'll use the bus stop method we learnt before. In order to multiply two fractions together, we multiply the numerator by the numerator 3 times 8 and the denominator by the denominator 4 times 7. Now we can simplify 24 over 28 by dividing the top and the bottom by 4 to give us 6 over 7. So remember, when multiplying fractions, we do the numerator times the numerator and the denominator times the denominator. Now, to divide fractions, we're going to use an acronym KFC. It stands for keep, flip, change. So we keep the first fraction the same, 8 over 12, flip the second fraction so it becomes 3 over 5, and change the sign from a divide to a multiplication. And how do we multiply? Numerator times numerator, 24, and denominator times denominator, 60. Now we can simplify this, dividing top and bottom by 2. And then we can simplify again by dividing top and bottom by 6, giving us 2 over 5. Last up is addition and subtraction, and to do this we must have a common denominator. So the number on the bottom of both our fractions must be the same. We cannot add the numerators and denominators like multiplication. To deal with this problem, we're going to go back to what we did with simplifying. I need a denominator of 5 to be the same as a denominator of 10, so I multiply by 2, and I do the same to the numerator, giving me 6 over 10. I can now add only the numerators, so 6 plus 9 is 15, and I do nothing to the denominator. If I need to subtract two fractions, I do exactly the same thing, make the denominators the same. I've picked 20 because I know that's a multiple of both 5 and 4. Apply the golden rule, so whatever I did to the denominator, I do to the numerator as well. Subtract the numerators and leave the denominator alone.